what is Vanderbilt after beating Alabama? Is this just a one-off performance where they played Alabama and that was their Super Bowl and they're going to crash back down to earth? And are we going to see the Vandy team that we saw lose to Georgia State not too long ago? Or is Vanderbilt no longer the doormat of the SEC? You know, I think that at this point now, you got to start viewing Vanderbilt as a quality team in the SEC this season. They got a really good quarterback, and Diego Pavia, a transfer from New Mexico State. You remember when New Mexico State last year went on the road and clocked Auburn and Jordan Hare? Yeah, he was the quarterback that year for that squad. And so far for Vandy, he's been a revelation for this program. Vanderbilt hasn't had good quarterback play in a very long time. And with how well Diego Pavia is playing, he could go down as the most talented quarterback in Commodore's history. Better than Jay Cutler. When you watch Pavia play, I see a quarterback that is always calm. He always knows where to go with the football. He's really accurate. He's completing 67.7% of his passes. Makes great decisions with the football. 8 touchdowns, no interceptions, and he's a really good runner as well. 335 rushing yards, 2 tutties to go along with that. He's a gamer. And right now, I view Diego Pavia as a legitimate NFL prospect at quarterback. I think he's a better NFL prospect than what Quinn Ewers is. You know, with you being able to play this well for Vandy, a school that has normally been pretty dreadful when it comes to football since the beginning of time, you're different. And Diego Pavia is one of those players that when you bring him into your program, he changes everything. You know, if you didn't have this dude at quarterback, you probably wouldn't have any wins this year because Diego Pavia has quietly started to become one of the best kept secrets in college football. And I'm not really surprised that Vanderbilt gave Alabama a close game. It's a large reason why I didn't put it on my best bets because I got a lot of friends who were betting on Alabama to not just win outright, but cover that spread. And I was trying to warn them. I was like, man, I don't know. Like, even though I was pretty confident Bama was going to win, I wasn't expecting them to lose. I wasn't expecting this game to be a blowout because Vanderbilt, they nearly beat Missouri. They only lost that game in overtime, and they beat Virginia Tech early during the season. So this is a really solid team. They may not be great. They may not be in the conversation to make the playoffs at the end of the year, but this is definitely a team that I can see winning 8, maybe 9 games potentially. You know, like they were able to frustrate Jalen Milroe. They shut him down. Yeah, he had a couple of big plays, but against Vandy, Jalen Milroe played probably his worst game of the season. He was scoring like 5 touchdowns damn near every single game until he played Vandy, and we saw a little bit of the Jalen Milroe that we seen all last season, being inaccurate with the football at times, having head-scratching decision-making. Vandy has a really good quarterback. They got a really good coaching staff. The OC for New Mexico State that Pavia played for last season, he followed them to Vandy when he took the offensive coordinator gig. And Vanderbilt has made a lot of changes with their football program under Clark Lee. They are renovating their stadium. And despite majority of their home crowd being Alabama fans, you know, they were still able to win that game. The crowd noise didn't affect them. This is a team that is not intimidated by playing against opponents that have more talent than them. You know, unlike the Vanderbilt teams that we've seen in years past, like in games like this, they just will lay an eggshell. They want to show no fight, no resiliency, and even if they got a lead, you were pretty confident that they were going to blow it. But no matter what point of this game you were watching, you always felt that Vanderbilt was going to hold on to this game, even when Alabama was coming back. Anytime it looked like Alabama was about to take control of this game and they were about to run away with it, Vanderbilt would make plays on their own thanks to Drew Pavia or Diego Pavia that would help them maintain control of it. And Vanderbilt is no longer going to be a team that you can look at on your schedule and say, yeah, it's a guaranteed win. There's not a single team this year that Vandy doesn't have a chance at being able to beat. If you can beat a team as good as what Alabama is, there's no unbeatable team on your schedule. Vanderbilt looks like they're having one of those renaissance seasons. And it's not impossible to win that, Vandy. James Franklin, the current head coach of Penn State, he had a lot of success with this program. If you can get a head coach that's a high character guy that can boost the morale of the locker room, get players believing that they can win games like this, you can end up having a really good Vandy squad every once in a while if they have that kind of head coach that's a really good motivator. And Clark Lee seems to be that. So for Vandy, I don't look at them as just them having a one-off performance and they got lucky and they struck lightning in the bottle against Bama. This is an actual good team that is going to have more upsets along the way this season. And nobody really should be surprised anymore if you see a team that's favored a lot against Vandy losing, because this is a program that now has showed that they're not to be taken lightly, and you better take them seriously, because if you have an off game and you're not playing your best football, they're going to end up beating you. No matter if they're playing you in your home territory or if you got to come to their palace and play them, they're good enough to knock off anybody if they're not playing A-plus football. And we saw that with Alabama. They were having turnover issues. They were not playing their best defensively. And you saw Vanderbilt take advantage of that. And that's why Vanderbilt looks to be a quality team moving forward for this season.